Action!
We need one of those little clamps.
Action!
Hey. You're cold?
I just got a little shiver. Got chills.
Okay, I can't quite remember where I threw out my old notes. Can you actually reach into the trash can, Amber? Because I wrote.
You did it was a so it's official.
Huh? So it's official?
No, that was a few back.
Oh, what does that say right there? I think I ended right there.
Stopped.
Get it back. Stopped. Okay. Helpful.
Helpful. Okay.
Well, I didn't want to repeat myself, even though it bears repeating.
When we last left our heroes, they're now stuck in the hoarded house.
Hoarded house.
Are we stuck in a hoarded house? Not to be confused with haunted house.
I know, that's why I said it's
stuck in a hoarded house.
Sorry, there's fuzz on my thing, and it's well, OCD is real.
Everybody's OCD.
Take it away, Charles.
Okay, so we have been going deep into hoarding for weeks and weeks, and I love it more than ever. I've been working on this often, and it keeps getting better. Honestly, it also keeps getting longer. But and we tried to get through just in case in the last two episodes, but there's still more of it left. So I'm just gonna keep going, and we'll see how she goes. When I think of everyone I've ever met and helped and observed, everyone has a different sense of this balance between stuff and space. It's a very personal thing, that feeling. That internal sense of whether things literally have tipped the scale from peaceful to chaotic, from tidy to messy. Did I read this part last time?
I don't remember
I
this
don't
part.
remember that.
You don't? Okay, I thought that I did. All right, I'm gonna start that little part again. The internal sense of whether things have literally tipped the scale from peaceful to chaotic, from tidy to messy, from order to disorder, from spacious to cluttered. As you think about your home, what parts of it bring you a sense of peace, and what is happening when it starts to feel stressy? What is happening? Sometimes it's hard to know. If it's really bad, it's crossed over and you don't really know what's happened. But
Maybe you left off right there.
Stop and look.
Because what's coming to my mind is, what's happening is when I open the Tupperware drawer, it all spills out and I say curse words. I say curse word! That's how I swear. And so, as a result, I tidied my Tupperware drawer. Since our last episode, it's tidied. And I literally chucked also a trash bag full of those Walmart bags that you pay 75, 50 cents for every time because you forget them at home. My closet was exploding, and so I chucked a trash bag full of them.
Wow.
I know, it's terrible, but I have much more peace.
The peace is more valuable. The peace is more valuable.
That's right. So thank you.
Pay yourself for the peace.
Yeah.
I have said that so many times over the course of my life. How much would this whatever, what would you pay to just not ever have to think about that again?
That's good.
Let's assume it's at least the worth of the thing and break it and get it out of your
Probably
life.
$20 worth of Walmart bags.
Wow.
Well worth it.
Well worth it. $20 doesn't even buy you a coffee anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I lost my space. Where am I?
Sorry,
Spacious
my bad.
to cluttered. Okay, what is happening? Are things piling up in corners or on the dining room table? Can you see the surface of your kitchen countertops, or are they buried under weeks of mail? Do you think that those piles are affecting your quality of life, your ability to focus, or to really relax? I do. I think that.
I do.
I think that. I know that many people, like my neighbor, believe the exact opposite of me when it comes to keeping things, but I am convinced that peace and space are connected. He believes everyone should keep everything, every coin, every hat, every mug that comes into your life, because you never know when you might need it. or find out that it's valuable. I, on the other hand, believe I do know.
All the things.
I do know that I don't need 6,000 trucker hats ever. I do know that I don't need 250 mugs ever. I do know that I will never need 150 sweaters. They would come in handy for all my friends and family if a zombie apocalypse happened during a Maine winter. And might that happen? Sure. More likely now than ever. But I still am not going to keep that many of anything just in case that happens. Why? Because the life that I have right now is the one that I want. The life of simplified living. The life of less. And my life of less still has a lot of sweaters in it, but not so many that they are stressing me or stressing my family. And we're going to stay here for a minute. What, as you listen to this, pricks your heart?
It was Tupperware.
What things in your home right now, in this moment, are starting to tip the scale of peace and space in your home? What piles of books or clothes or shoes or toys or dishes is stressing you or your husband or your children? I know it's hard to admit these things, so I want to pour some love over you right now. Again, as I said in our last episode, you are not your things. You are not your piles of things. We all have very busy lives, whirling and swirling around us, and some of us are barely coming up for air. The piles of life happen. The stuff of life is real. It's a never-ending battle till the day we die, and then someone else has to deal with whatever's left. Our stuff will outlive us. All my sweaters will most likely be handed down to my sisters or my nieces, and they will probably give them away. And that's okay. We are not our possessions. We are not our homes. Are they a reflection of us? Yes. For sure they are, and some more than others. You can tell when people love their homes and their family life, when it closely reflects who they are. You can tell when people don't love their homes. Many people in our area live in abject, squalid conditions, and while poverty sometimes has something to do with hoarding, it is no excuse. I go a little deep here. Trigger warning. It is no excuse for sheer laziness and filth. But still, you are not your cleaning habits or your lack thereof. You can make a choice to move in a different direction. You can choose to protect the space that you live in, to take care of it. You can even learn to love it. And the very best way that I have found to do that is to protect and fight for simplicity. If you can master keeping things simple versus collecting hordes of things, you will see how much easier life can be. Having less to deal with frees up your time, your brain, your heart, and it up space for joy and makes more things possible. And then we're gonna play a little bit of Let's Pretend.
Can I speak into something?
Please.
What you said reminded me of about poverty and but still honoring your space. I remember an interview with Oprah Winfrey when cause she was really, really poor, lived on a porch poor, dirt poor. And she first got a job in Chicago doing news, and she lived in this tiny, tiny little apartment. And she talked about how with just a little bit of her money, she'd always buy flowers to put on her table because she wanted it to feel it was hers, and she wanted to honor it, and she wanted it to be beautiful. And so even though she didn't have a lot of things, she always tried to carve out a little bit of funds to like always have fresh flowers every other week on her table, that so that she could feel like it was and she said it helped her. You know, she's like, the table was from Goodwill, and the tablecloth was from Goodwill, and everything was, but it gave her that feeling of pride in her house because it was, and I remember that, and I was like, that is pretty quite remarkable.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up very, very poor, and I also believe that if my life situation changed and I was, for some reason, I go to prison in my life. I have no idea why. It would not be because I killed somebody. It would probably be because of my faith. So I was like, if the world brings us to the place where I'm in prison for my faith, happily, I will go there. And I will tell you what, I will still keep my prison cell tidy and simple. I know that part of that is not my choice because they won't let me have anything probably in my cell, but
You'll make your bed every day.
My bed will be made, and I will find a way to make it cuter than yours. I will find a way. It will be my goal that I was like, I will have the cutest jail cell. It's not about money. This has nothing to do with income. This has everything to do with just keeping your space simple and tidy because you want to live your best life. It doesn't matter how rich or poor you are. We can all do these things.
Right.
But thank you for that, because that's good. And it's a very good point. I'm not talking about wealth in any of this.
No.
This has nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Well, and I also thought it was interesting how she was seeing her space, because again, you have a very minimalistic viewpoint, and I have friends who are not as minimalist as you, but all of their homes, I'm thinking of my friend Catherine, she has a very different style than you, but her house is so lovely because she has an understanding of color and style and art, and so she has art on her walls, and it's all this, it fits so beautifully and perfectly together. And she's thoughtful about it, and she picks what she loves, and she doesn't just put something up there because it would look good. It's something that means something to her, and she has this vintage dining room table that's like totally out of the 1950s, and it totally fits her vibe, and everything is thoughtful.
Right.
And it's beautiful because it's thoughtful and it's simple. It's not...
And because you can tell she loves it.
That's what I was going to say.
So
Doing real estate, I'm telling you, I can walk through a door and I know this person loves their home, or this is a landing pad for these guys.
Yep.
You know, and the styles from mine are night and day, but you can tell when someone loves their home.
Yes.
You know.
Well, what this is about is the stress, the pain point.
Yep.
Yes,
Yeah.
and you can tell that she's not at her pain point to have things on her walls. Where that
aesthetic is not a pain point. Aesthetic is a style, it's a value, it's your personal vibe, it's all these things, and it's so unique to
you.
every
Yes.
person.
Yes.
And there might be elements of this or that. I know we talked about, the Joanna Gaines cookie cutter style, which I personally don't like when it's all that and there's no element of personal touch or mixing and matching, because I'm like, well, congratulations, you can shop at Target.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, what does that really say about you? I don't know. It's really hard to gauge.
Right.
But no offense, but anyway. I'm sure I'll offend
but
somebody.
Some will be taken.
But I think that when I look at your house and when I look at Catherine's house, though the style, you're right, the aesthetic is different. What I do know is that both of you, it's tidy. It makes sense. There's a sense to it, and it feels thought out, versus what I do think people who are more hoardy have hoarding tendencies. It's not about how it makes you feel. It's a panic consumption.
And it's usually chaos. So and then the pain point is stress. It's stressful. It's stressful for the people who do the hoarding. In my experience, don't necessarily know that they're stressed, but we can see from the outside looking in, you can see that it's stressing their family, or that's stressing relationships, or that they're embarrassed to have people in their home, or that it's like they don't get out very much, or like there's pain points that they might not acknowledge, but they're certainly there. And so, and again, why am I even doing this? It's because I love seeing the breakthroughs happen when people realize that they can make a choice to not keep doing this and to choose. And when I say simplicity, I don't mean just have a couch in a white room, which is what I love, but I just mean when you start to feel what we're just saying, when you start to feel that tension and like, okay, I am feeling stressed. When I walk into this room, I feel stressed. Why? Why am I stressed in here? What is happening? Pretty soon, if you really start to think about it, or if you need a friend, I would say if you grab a buddy and be like, help me, I feel stressed in here. Well, is it because there's all these books in this corner that you haven't read for 3 years? Maybe we take all of those out. And then it's like, look, there's the corner.
You've done that for me so many times.
So many times. Take stuff out. If you walk into a room and you feel stressed in it, take everything out of it if you can, or start in just a corner, or start with just that countertop that's covered, or start with the table that you can't find, or a shelf that really, when you open the doors to your closet. I did this just last month. We were talking about some spring cleaning, and it's been, things queue up in us, and that's it's seasonal. That's why there's spring cleaning. We're all opening the doors. We've been, we're big snuggly bears. We're just realizing, oh my gosh, this has been piling up, or I need to wash every surface. That is normal. That's normal, and it's normal to need to cull. I need to do some culling, and so I did that in our linen cupboard, which is also, and it's like it's a feeling. It's a feeling that I need to do something now. Or
and sometimes you can't force it until it's ready. I'll say that to the boys. Postal Pammy is rising.
Right.
And when she comes someday, I'm not sure, but I'll know, and then I'm gonna go nuts.
Right.
Yep. I love that postal pan.
We all have some version of that for sure. And if the people if you're a family member of a hoarder, you will know what we're talking about when I say it affects your family. Because at the very least, you're like, I just don't understand what's happening, and it's I can't even get in here. Where do we want me to sit? So we're gonna play Let's Pretend.
Okay.
Because I want to give some tangible examples of how things can escalate over time. Let's pretend that books are taking over your home.
Peter Smoke.
And I'm gonna some of the examples that I use in the future are extreme, but again, if you see yourself going this way, there might be some flags. Sometimes books do take over our homes. Whenever we leave the house, books spawn and have baby books. That are delivered to us by a stork.
Whoa.
Named Amazon.
Amazon.
Now let's say that your hubby has had it with the piles of books, because there are more books in your home than you could ever read in your lifetime. He starts to snap at you for little things like oversteaming the broccoli at dinner time. But it's not really about that. At its core, he's just really overwhelmed with the piles of unread books everywhere. He doesn't know how to tell you this because he knows that you have a weakness for books. But let's fast forward 20 years. The piles of books have now overtaken much of your living space. They're collecting dust, they're shoved under the sofa, they're slumped on a shelf behind a chair. You can't find the one you want when you think of it. You mean to give some away to friends, but now those are piling up too, and the seasons have passed. Perhaps another friend who needs the book will come along. Perhaps, but likely, perhaps not. And even if they do, it's okay. You don't have to be the keeper and giver of all the books. I can feel the nerves that I have touched from here. I know that this is hard. I am so guilty of hitting buy now, quote unquote, just as often as the hoardiest of hoarders. I love curling up in a ball on my sofa and going online shopping. I love taking off on a bright sunny Saturday to one of my favorite coastal towns and hitting all my favorite shops. I love going to flea markets, yard sales, antique stores, thrift shops, and Target just as much as everyone else does. But in my mind, when I pick up anything, a chair, a painting, a dish, a pair of shoes, a cute little table, a trunk, is where am I going to put this? Will this create a problem for me?
Mhm.
Will it offset the balance of space in my home? Am I buying it just in case, quote unquote? Am I buying it because it's rare and I may never see one again? Am I hitting buy now when I don't need now? Because those things can produce piles of problems really quickly. Now I am guilty of this just the other day, although it turned out good in the end. I was on my way home from, must have been school for something, but I was by myself. See this yard sale of this guy who does antiques, and it's right near where I drive past all the
Exactly what
time.
you're talking. A little expensive.
A little pricier than a yard
Yeah.
sale, but cheaper than an antique store.
Yep.
Wouldn't you agree?
Yep.
And he has a good eye. He has a
He
good eye.
does,
So
yeah.
I almost always stop. If I see his stuff up, I'm like, burp, almost get into a car accident every time and pull over. And he had this, I think, a lovely old chair, this old rocker. It reminded me instantly of a chair that I loved in someone's camp, a family camp that we go to, and I was like, oh, it's just like that. I love that. It's very sentimental to me. It's almost like it has memories of its own because it looks just like the one that I associate. So by association, I'm already sentimental about this chair. And it was only $25. And I had exactly $25 in my wallet with cash. There was nobody there. I couldn't find him. I knocked on the door. I even tried calling the number. And I went up to his porch with my $25 and I put it under this little ceramic dog. And I was like, I think I'm just gonna take this chair. And so it's heavy. I am awkwardly trying to get it into the back of my car. Already laughing because I know my husband and my boys are literally gonna be like, Mom, not another chair. I have a weakness for chairs. Old chairs. The guy actually shows up, we exchange, I left you money under your doggy. Okay, you trust me, and off I drove. I get it home and bring it into the house, and my son Henry, who has the same amount of strong opinions as I had when I was his age, declares that it's an absolute horror and that he will not allow life to continue.
Did you say it made him sad?
Did it make him sad? I don't remember. Did I say that?
I think it's something like, when I look at it, it makes me sad or
Yes.
something. You know?
It was a feeling. It was a feeling where it was probably not sad. It was probably mad. But he was just like, Mom, it's so old. He's like, for the love, can we? He didn't say for the love. But he's like, can we please get some modern furniture that people actually want to sit in? Is what he said. He's like, Mom, that can't be in the house. It's dark and it's depressing, and I just feel like. Yeah, I think he did say sad. He said depressed. It makes me feel depressed. I was like, okay, fine. So now I am trying to honor. He's right. It was dark. So my house is very light. It's white. And I have a few dark pieces of furniture, but they're sprinkled with a lot of sheepskin, and the predominant feeling is white.
Oh, for sure.
I don't know. The feeling is what.
Okay. With a hint of yellow.
With a hint of, we just got a gold couch for our cover. Anyway, it's lighter. It's lighter than that.
White.
And this chair that I picked up, is dark.
Yes,
dark,
it's dark wood,
brown,
dark
black
leather.
leather.
Yeah. And so Henry was like, nope, vetoed. I was like, okay, I received that. It was only $25. I told myself, if it doesn't work in the house, I'm gonna just turn it and flip it and put it on Facebook Marketplace and sell it but I was like, So I've literally maxed out in my studio up here where I've put trunks and stuff next to the walls, and I'm like, there's not really any more space. I can't hardly walk. I can't walk. There's a circumference here where you hit your head, and anyway. So the chair came back out to the garage, and what I found it's only been about a week and a half since I got it, is that we're using it next to Henry's drum set, and Sam will sit in the rocking chair when he's playing the guitar, or whoever will want to just kind of hang out and vibe by the thing. So now it's becoming a garage chair, which I was like, it's not what I pictured. It's not really what I wanted. If we end up with a camp, it's going there. It'll be the first thing that goes there. But so it had its own little journey, but it was rejected in the house. And all that to say, sometimes even I, as a huge proponent of not buying too many things, I still end up with those things where you're like, ooh, this is going to look really good, and then it doesn't.
Yeah. Yep.
And so that is a normal human experience where we're like, oh, that's not exactly what I want. Or at all what I was
But
thinking.
you, unlike most people, I think you'll heave-ho it, where somebody will be like, well, I got it, and so I'll just make room for it. I guess it'll sit over here in the corner.
No, I don't do that. Yeah. No, because stuff affects me. Like, I feel it.
We're the hives are coming.
I feel it. If I don't love it, and I don't, it's like, ooh, yes. It has to be that for me.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. I was nervous about getting a gold cover for my sofa because I was like, am I going to hate this thing? But I put it on. We were both like, ooh, yes, we love that. Right?
Yeah.
But then went all my pillow covers from my other cat. I wanted a total redo.
Mm-hmm.
And like the flowers that Oprah used to buy, I was like, I treat myself to new pillow covers yearly, if not seasonally.
Mm.
I know that sounds crazy. I'm sorry.
I've been the recipient of some of those pillows, so I'm fine with that. and blankets.
Yeah, just keep them moving. Keep them moving. I love to buy them, so that means I have to keep them moving.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That was a tangent, but I think a good one. Okay, so I am guilty. Blah, 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 blah. Yep. Mm-hmm.
You were.
I am guilty.
Guilty. Did we play the game?
I'm trying to find my thing here.
Yes, it was the book game.
Oh, it was the book game. Okay.
It wasn't really a game.
Yeah, I'm disappointed. I want to play a game. I'm just kidding.
Wheel of Fortune.
Well, we should do a little
just
video of us going through each other's house and be like, do you really need this? Do you love this? If not, we're gonna throw it away.
Oh.
But I'm trying to find my place here is what I'm doing here. Okay, yeah. Picked up the chair. Okay. Will it create a problem for me? That chair did create a problem. Will it offset the balance of space in my house? Yes, it did, as my son told me, and that did offset the balance, Mom. I hate it. I wasn't buying it just in case. It was an impulse buy. It was rare. It's old, but it did produce a problem, and it did produce it really quickly. I brought it in, and right away, Henry was like, vetoed. But here's a list. I came up with a list of tough love, hard truth questions to ask yourself before you hit that buy now button or put that old chair in the back of your SUV. How wonderful. I wrote this before I found an old chair.
That's hilarious.
Stop it.
I am not kidding. It is a normal
so
occurrence.
funny.
It is a normal occurrence. I see an old chair and I just...
It's so cute.
Yeah, it's normal. Number 1, do I love it? You have to understand, do I love it?
Mm-hmm.
Not like it. Not have wishy feelings. Do I love this? Number 2, do I need this? Do I have a need? I need a chair, or I need a new plate. My other one broke. Number 3, do I already have this? Number 4, do I have space for this? That's my big one. That's the big one. Mm-hmm. But do I love it? Do I need it? Comes into play when you're decluttering a lot. So I left those 2 things at the top. Do I have space for this is really my ultimate goal. Number 5, when I get home with it, where is it going to go? Number 6, is there a good spot for it? So that's kind of the same thing, but I'm trying to we're working it out. Mm-hmm. Number 7, will this bring peace or stress to my family? I considered that's the example with the chair. That stressed my son out the minute he saw it. He hated it.
It made him sad.
It made him sad.
Depressed,
this chair makes me sad, Mom. I love my son more than this new chair that wasn't even in my life 20 minutes ago. Okay? So, better choice. Number 8.
That was nice of you. Would there be anything that you really loved where you'd say, sorry, but a deal?
So both of my kids like more modern
Mhm.
than our house is. We have a 1757 colonial. I think that I do a pretty good job of ancient and modern, not super modern. Like
Mhm.
no, I mean IKEA
Yeah.
is like the modern. Nothing crazy expensive or really weird. Not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's modern and then there's modern.
Yeah.
I don't like the weird modern.
Yeah.
Like anyway. But my boys, they would probably choose different styles. Like
Mhm.
they'd want a big L-shaped leather sofa.
Yeah.
And like, probably big speakers that we could see. I don't know.
Yeah.
More testosterone induced. But
Mhm.
but they love our home.
But I'm saying, would you, like, if you really loved that chair and one of your kids hated it, would you be like, sorry, I love it?
If I loved it,
Yeah.
I would be like, yeah, you need to get over it. And
Yeah.
when you have your own house.
Yeah. 'Cause that's not how I would be.
Yeah.
Sorry, I clean
Like,
it.
or like if they didn't love the gold couch like you and Kurt love the gold couch, it's still a gold couch.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's how I
think
would
there's,
be.
yeah. I'm
It
good.
is still
Sorry,
our,
guys.
our
Yeah.
house. Yeah. No.
Deal.
Yeah. No, that was just more of like the sort of extra thing that
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
need, and that's a good question. Number 8. Does this make me happy now, but stress me when I think about putting it somewhere?
Mm.
This is a really normal occurrence for everyone, including people like me. It's making me happy now. I'm in Target. I'm like, oh, I love this thing. Or in the antique store, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a gorgeous piece. Where am I going to put it? And then you start to feel stressed. And you're like, that's a flag on the field.
You say you have a basket and you have maybe.
When I go shopping,
Yeah.
like if I'm like yard sailing even, or wherever I go, like in the front of the crowd, like, oh, this is a maybe. You know, I'm thinking like the creamy, a Ninja Creamy.
Mhm.
And so it's $40 off. I've been wanting one. I'm like, it's a maybe, and I'll just see how I feel at the checkout. And it also depends on how many groceries I need for the week, like wisdom money wise too. And also for me, the creamy's big, and I need a place to put it. But my kids, we love ice cream, and so I ended up getting it. I'm not a huge kitchen appliance person, but I do really love it. But it was a maybe the whole time I shopped until the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's a typical. Yeah, we all do that now.
Mm-hmm.
We all like we'll think about it.
Yeah.
We'll think about
Think
it.
about it. Pray about it. Pray about this.
Yeah. Number 9 is, why am I feeling attached to this thing? Can I acknowledge the feelings but walk away from the thing itself and still be happy?
That's good.
That is me a lot. True confessions, I am a shopper. I love to go shopping. If I'm in a new city, I go shopping. If I'm in whatever, I like to find thrift shops, boutiques, kitchen stores, high-end stuff, low-end stuff. I just love to shop. I love it. And so a lot of my life is moving things out because I want to move something in. Even little things, as soon as a scale is tipped, I know I have to move things out if I want to bring things in.
You need to have friends like this. Much of my house is Rachel done with things.
Yeah.
Remember the shelf you and Kurt made you? You wanted for years and years and years. You wanted to build you a shelf.
Yeah, the long thing.
You kept it up for like what?
I don't know, it just wasn't working for me.
Yeah. I've gotten many of those. Always works for me.
It always works for me. Yeah. So, and then number 10, can I let this go and choose simplicity instead?
That's good.
So, we're going to end with this list because I think these are just good things to ponder, think about, especially for all of us shoppers or people that are struggling with collecting. And we will see you next time.
Go throw something away.
Yeah, I love your little end things.
Go throw something away.
So stop using that word.
Hey, 33 minutes. That's pretty good.
Okay, so good.
So good.
So we have 3, maybe 4 if you can break Amber's long.